to see who's going to be the ZvZ god to move on through into the winners match to kick things off. Now, game sounds are very low at the moment. Like, way lower than they should be. I'm almost certain about it. Maybe it's just me. Feels as though they're very quiet. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe it is just me. Let me know, guys, if there's issues and with the sound and whatever. But for now, let's jump in game. Let's get some StarCraft 2 going for the day. As to the bottom left-hand side of the map, our green Zerg player from OSC Root. Give it up for PandaBearMe. To the bottom right-hand side, the blue Zerg player, his teammate, of course, as they open with mirrored build orders here. Hatch gas pool on Newkirk Precinct map number 1. It is Cham. So best of threes throughout the day. We're going to have 5 best of threes in total. 2 initial matches, a winners match, a losers match, and then a decider match as well. Just a dual elimination group. Top 2 advance to the round of 8 to be played on Friday. Tomorrow we're going to be bringing you guys Group Korea featuring Patience, Hurricane, True, and Bunny, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be tomorrow's action, and that will be completing the 8 players who will play on Friday, and then the top 4 played out on Monday. So that's the sort of plan for this tournament, in case you missed it so far. We have got bets open in the chat. No, it's been a long time since we've had bets open, but we've got bets going once again, so if you want to check those out, you can ! betting help in the chat, and you can get your info. Otherwise, make sure you get your bets in. And how's everyone doing today as well? We obviously, because we were my timer was a bit long, we kind of came right into this game and kind of got things going. But do let me know what's up. Let me know how we're all doing. Let me know how we're all feeling today as we kick off into this first best of 3. You see initially here just a Baynest actually coming down from PandaBearMe before the third base, so potential for a bit more of an aggressive stance. Cham just going to go for that third hatchery before Baynest, unless he, of course, maybe wants to just skip straight up towards Roach is also a possibility here. So hatchery on the way down towards the third as Baynest on either side. I mean, Cham's third base, Baynest afterwards. Not too much of a surprise. And it's basically much the mirrored build orders, just the fact that the Baynest and the third hatcheries were kind of changed around a little in the order in which they were taken. So some slight differences between the players so far, but nothing too major. As you see a few lings from Cham just going to come down to the south side, and he's trying to hunt for a couple of lings of PandaBearMe, but they're actually just positioned right at the front, so neither player really going to run into each other. In fact, as Cham leaves this direction, PandaBearMe is going to come over here and morph in some Banes. So that's a pretty nice little mind game there. Mind game slash coincidence of timing. Works out quite nicely for PandaBearMe, who is now making use of that slightly earlier Bane nest. Zergling's on the way out, and he will try and get aggressive here in the next few moments. Cham, though, with 4 defensive Banes on the way up, and with his own Zerglings, a few of them up here, I feel as though he should more or less have enough to turn this away without taking too much damage. And he will start to take a little bit of a worker lead, of course, as, well, here we go. Attack starts to move in towards the third base. Banes do arrive, though, and again, that will start to create some issues. And as we'll see, PandaBearMe, just those 2 Banes actually going to keep on running forwards, as we are going to be seeing 1 Bane going down to the Queens, 1 Bane to a couple of Zerglings. I think for the most part, Cham has found the trades he wants here, as 1 more Bane will go down. PandaBearMe still streaming units forwards, but Cham, for the most part, still looking pretty good. He's a little bit ahead in army supply. He's got a few extra drones, and now he will finally push PandaBearMe away as well. So this works out nicely for Cham. Being the defender, not taking any damage, actually works out quite heavily in his favor. So Cham should be pretty happy about that so far. And PandaBearMe, well, he's got to find a way to try and do something. Going to lose an Overlord as well. He's going to try and loop around, but there's just so many Balins from Cham. He's very well defended, although it is actually now PandaBearMe who takes that worker lead. So a little bit of back and forth between the players here, as we'll see a Balin picking up a few more Zerglings. But for the most part, it should just turn back into drones, and we should start to see Rotorons coming down and transition away from the Ling Bane. There's Cham's Rotoron coming down right now, although he hasn't really droned in the past few moments. He's just sat on the 29 workers and continuing to mass up Ling Bane. PandaBearMe did take that opportunity to drone, but now he's going to be in trouble in his third hatchery. Might just be about to go down as Lings stream on forwards some Banelins as well. All moving forwards here to see what they're going to do. We're going to see one queen getting picked off. Banelin's still trying to trade. Actually, a nice Bane connection despite the trade there. As PandaBearMe gets a couple as well to help him out. As more and more Lings of Cham streaming across the map. Still down in the work camp. PandaBearMe with another 10 drones on the way. Not the right time to be droning at all. I mean, he's going to shut down these Banelins, but he still has all of these Zerglings to deal with. And those Zerglings are just going to keep on streaming across the map right now. And PandaBearMe, 20 workers ahead. I mean, if he can survive, he's going to have a huge lead in the game, but I mean, at the very least, he's going to lose a third hatchery. I'm not sure if he even will survive past that as well, as 2 more Banes come up. Cham will once again gain the confidence to go up the ramp in towards the natural and to look to pick up further damage, as we're going to be seeing Another drone just being chased away right there, and, well, Zerglings still just gathering up together. A couple of Banes moving forwards too. Cham looking to see what he might be able to connect in on in the next couple of moments. And as we do see, third hatchery going down, and again, it just feels as though Cham's army supply is getting larger and larger while PandaBearMe really isn't going anywhere with anything. You're going to see two more Banes just moving in towards the back of the natural, and they explode on really not too much, as now Bane's going to start connecting on drones. Not the end of the world when you're 20 workers up. I mean, you can afford to lose a few workers, but the problem is you're still just not going to have the army to clean out the rest of it. And that is going to be GG. Cham picks up as we continue this ZvZ. We kick things off to the bottom right-hand side of the map with the blue Zerg, who's taken the 1-0 lead in the series. It is Cham. His opponent towards the upper left-hand side is going to be the green Zerg player from OSC route. In this team kill, it's PandaBearMe. Again, our other players in this group will be Smile, another Latin American player, and Massa. So 2 Terran players setting us up for TVT after this, followed by 2 TVZs, which should be pretty entertaining. So that's going to be our kind of schedule here for the evening. And then, of course, we'll have that decider match, which we don't know what that's going to consist of just yet. As we do just have the initial setup here. Not going to be too crazy from either player. Just going to be hatchery first. And we'll probably moving in towards that gas pool in the next few moments as well. So that's going to be the next few moments. Coming on up here, so we're going to be seeing an extractor coming down. It's actually going to be a pool before the gas from Cham, so a little bit of a different way of going about things, as there's that extractor dropping on down here as well. Today was such a... Today has been interesting. I feel as though I haven't done anything today. You guys ever get those days where it's all of a sudden like 6, 7 p.m. and you're just like, huh, what did I do today? That's how I feel right now. And I know obviously we're about to cast, we're going to be live for the next few hours and all the rest of it, but I mean, it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird that today sort of just disappeared. Something came up and we had to sort of had to do some stuff for a little while, but it doesn't in the end of the time feel like I've done much at all, as we do see hatchery just on the way up from both players, as we mentioned before. It's going to be finishing shortly. Cham with a slightly later gas here, but not too far behind. I mean, he's about 12 gas or so behind, so it's really not that much. His link speed will not be that much later. And both players just going to pull away to stick with 2 workers on the gas right now as they head towards a Bana nest in the near future. So really no shocks, no surprises at this point. It's a nice slow standard start. We're going to see this overload from PandaBearMe popping out, and it's going to be starting to come over the right hand side of the map. See where you can get to. There's overload Cham just again sat near the top side as well. And then you're going to see a few Zerglings going to start moving up the left hand side to see where they can get to, what they can get up to over the next few minutes. Garrick screaming, the chat's still at work in America, only noon over there. I mean, that's basically the difference, right? It's like most people are either going to be getting home from work in Europe or just still at work in America, or maybe even just starting the day at work, really. West Coast, 10 a.m. or so. Pretty tough. Got Andy Man in the chat working as well. As we do see the first Zerglings of Cham coming over, just pressuring this third base. I mean, get some health off of it. He's also got his own third hatchery coming down. Still mirrored builds for the most part, really. And as we do get those Bane nests on the way, though, we'll start to see maybe a bit of a divergence in terms of Ling Bane pressure and Ling Bane numbers from either player. We could just see them both droning up, of course, and staying in a very similar position. So, Ling speed does kick in slightly sooner for PandaBearMe, as expected, because he took that faster gas, and it does help him to pick up the last few of those Zerglings. So, again, I mean, that's a very small advantage. I mean, picking off a few Zerglings like this isn't exactly the end of the world for Cham, since he's actually massing up quite a few Lings right here. A couple of Banes coming in for him defensively as well. And you'll see PandaBearMe as he comes into the base. We'll kind of maybe get a bit of an inkling or a bit of a feeling that is going on. He's currently supply blocked 36 over 36, as Cham is supply blocked 44 over 44. So some supply blocks on either side, hurting both of the players. Are going to be seeing a mixture of drones and Lings from PandaBearMe as he does look to defend in the next few moments towards his third base. He does have a defensive Baneling already set up as these Zerglings. Going to run in. One Baneling goes off already, and a couple of Lings do get popped. You're going to see that one Ling trying to get up the ramp, but unfortunately just does not make it. And 4 Banes do begin to morph in off over to the side as Zerglings from Cham moving forward to see what they might be able to get done. For the most part, just yeah, still just kind of getting pushed back. Here comes a couple of Banes going to try and help out. from Cham to maybe break through this position. I mean, the queens are going to drop here. I think that's one of the most important things to know. I mean, losing 2 queens is not cheap at all. One last Zergling left over will try to work its way through balance, but eventually gets picked off in the end. So I think not really able to do too much more here, as now we see Cham with a transition into roaches. He had that roach rolling up a little while ago. He's not going to just commit to a massive roach attack, though. He is making an evolution chamber as well, so he really wants to make sure he's got kind of a very standard sort of setup going for himself here, where he's just going to be able to start his upgrade and all the rest of it too. The one thing he will miss is the lair to go into +2 and into the roach speed with, but plenty of time to get it up for +2. It's just roach speed that he'll be missing for a little while, as this Ravager being left alone actually will be able to morph in. And that's a nice little save from Cham, of course, keeping 1 extra unit alive, which otherwise would have died if he didn't start to morph into a Ravager. So that works out nicely. He's going to see Banes trying to roll up this ramp, but the reality is there's just so many units up here, it would not be worthwhile, as PandaBearMe continues to pressure to the right-hand side. Cham still just building up roaches. I wonder if he does just start to go for a bit of a larger attack here. Built this Evo Gym, but is yet to really utilize it at all. Maybe he's just trying to push PandaBearMe away for a moment or two to start making progress across the map, to try and, well, make this push, which could end the game. 40 army supply to the 14. He's down by 8 workers, so obviously it's again attack, which he's going to be very important for Cham to do damage with, because if he doesn't do damage with this, he will find himself in trouble. As we see Zerglings from PandaBearMe will start streaming into the 3rd base once again. Couple of roaches here from Cham, able to help push that away. And here we go, Cham still pushing in towards the upper left-hand side. A few more Ravagers begin to morph on in. And up the ramp we go. We're going to be seeing a few more roaches on the way out, but I mean, is PandaBearMe going to get them in time? I mean, Cham's going to arrive as they're starting to pop out one at a time, which obviously isn't really great. That corrosive battle lands really neatly, and it arrives just at the point where the roaches pop out, so they come into the world with not very much health on them, and, well, Cham just has so much here, as PandaBearMe continues to take a lot of hits on his army and all the rest of it, too. And a couple more corrosive battles continue to just cancel roaches, and that's the problem. If you got Ravagers on top of one of your hatcheries, you're pretty much very unlikely to ever really get roaches out of that hatchery. As that is GG, and Cham picks up the first